All right, if you're anything like me, you might get a little bit overactive with your hands. Sometimes for me, it's a snap hook that causes. And today we're gonna try to fix it. We've got something called the hell drill. So we got Ryan Hager here as the Director of Instruction at Plainfield Country Club. Ryan, the hell drill?
Yeah, I would say named appropriately, this is a tough one. But I don't think it's too tough for people to try at home. The objective is not necessarily to stripe it doing the drill, but really achieve a new feel of what you kind of are doing with your hands to the club through the hitting area, with the intent of reducing face closure somewhat, or just changing sort of how you apply your hands to the club through the hit. Yeah.
I see it most pronounced with my driver, but it can happen basically with any club.
Yeah, right? So I'll describe sort of why there's a reason for that. A lot of it's got to do with loft. So for demonstration purposes, I'm actually going to use my 62-degree lob wedge and my 3-iron, so I can sort of illustrate this idea here. So if I glue this guy to the club face of my lob wedge, and then I put it on this line, I'm going to do my best to position the black stick and the white stick sort of on top of one another. And then if I start to slowly twist this to the side, you can see it opens and closes. You can see it really doesn't point like violently left, and it also doesn't point violently right. It really just changes the height or the angle up and down more than it does left and right. But if I do the same thing to a 3-iron, I'm going to twist it, I promise, the same amount.
Oh yeah.
It starts to really point to the left because there's less loft, and way to the right as well. And so the volatility, for starters, just know the volatility of your more straight-faced clubs will always be bigger than your more lofted clubs. That said, it's probably not in your best interest to twist the club and crank the face super closed with any of your clubs if you want to stop hitting the occasional duck hook.
Got it.
So
that's why we see it the most pronounced with the driver, because it's the least lofted club.
So what we're talking about here is a force that you're applying to the grip. And it sounds like with a driver, that's the most dramatic. And what that force is a twisting force, where you are kind of rotating the grip too much, which closes the club face, right? And you can see that when I move my legs side to side, that's not the direct cause, right? It's something that's going on with your hands and your arms. So it's in your wrists and it's in your forearms, and it's a sort of a force that you apply to the grip to make it turn over like that. As a means of subtraction, we're going to add a different force, which is more of a pushing on the side of the grip. So the club would go through the zone more like this instead of like that. So the hell drill, properly, I learned from a guy named Scott Cowks. He teaches up in Canada, works with a number of tour players, and he helped me understand this sort of idea of, rather than twisting the shaft, pushing or throwing the shaft to keep the face a bit more square to the arc. I've also learned from Mike Adams, who's just down the street at Fiddler's Elbow. He uses these sort of pool swimming little paddles for the same idea, where you're trying to use it to push the grip as opposed to twisting the grip. You'll see that if I do this now with this thing on my hand, I'm not able to really do anything to the club. So the drill, I'll show without this for people that don't have a swimming paddle. The drill is pretty straightforward. You'll take your normal grip. I would usually say just hold it like you normally would. And then you're going to open your right hand up, and you're going to try to hold your hand nice and firm, like you're going to slap something. And it's just going to go on the back side of the grip, just like this. And it basically takes all of the twisting ability that you could use your trail arm for. It takes it away, and it leaves you with only the ability to sort of push the club through the hitting area, which allows you to release it. I think a lot of times when people are struggling with this twisting, hooking problem, they end up trying to like hold the club off, which is just not a great way to play. It feels very forced and awkward and tense. And so if you can replace the twist with a different type of release, it still feels flowing and like a golf swing. So that's what this drill is designed to do. Like usual, I would say take some practice swings. We're going to start with these little ones, like this. And you'll just try to like chip one kind of into the net. With a 9-iron, that might have gone about 75 yards, not a real long shot. And then gradually you can make the swing a little bigger, a little bit faster, but I would start slow and small. If you find that contact is just a complete mess, you could even start just like this.
Gotcha.
And just try to hit really little ones. There's sort of 3 phases to this drill. Phase number 1, right hand is wide open like a paddle, goes on the side of the shaft. Phase 2, you're then going to make a finger pistol, and you'll put your right hand on the club without the index finger or the thumb. And then phase 3 is the index finger goes back on, and the thumb would be last when you kind of go back to like a normal swing. All with the intent of kind of taking that twisting out of your trail arm. So you'd start with an open hand. After 1,000 of those, right? Maybe then you graduate when you're like, okay, I think I get the feeling, and then you go into the finger pistol. Same feel.
So we're just slowly adding fingers back.
Yeah, you're trying to progress back to like a normal grip and continue to use the same feeling. So without the thumb on there, I still don't really think I'd be able to twist the grip as much as before. And then finally, you'll put your thumb back on. Now, one thing I've had people try to do is sort of maybe change the pressure that you start with in your right hand specifically, almost a firmer grip pressure in your left hand. And maybe you take the pressure out of these 2 fingers. Maybe you take the pressure out of the entire hand. It might feel like this is on a lot more softly. But the objective now is to apply that same principle of like pushing the grip to release it or throwing it just with both hands flush to the grip. I think from like down the line, people that struggle with this whole hook thing, the club comes out and it's twisted around like this.
Yep.
Like I said, we don't want to like hold it off. But now if you're throwing it, it might start coming out and looking a little bit more like that.
Gotcha. So we'll give it a try. So I'm going to start with this open palm.
There we go. But the thing on video, I was just mentioning like the exit.
Yeah.
If you look at this club face right here, this is a more closed club face post impact, which you're able to do because your hand is able to twist the grip and shut it down. I also see changes to just your body, like you look a little bit more rotated here. You've replaced twist with your hands with twist with your body. I'd say as a rule of thumb, the more that your body rotates towards the target, the more the face points to the right, and then vice versa. The more closed your body, you're right.
Yeah.
The arms, it's not even that they are trying to make up for something. It's just there's force and speed that your arms can't prevent. So there's definitely an intertwining of body, pivot, rotation, sequence stuff, and what you do here.
Yeah.
And you can simplify all that by putting your hand on the side of the grip like this and chipping some balls. Try a finger pistol on there, just the pointer finger and the thumb.
So the pointer finger and the thumb are the 2 that are off the club?
Yes. Beautiful. And then you'd go pointer finger back on, but you give it a thumbs up.
And I can feel the face a little bit open.
Yeah, certainly. And then you'd go back to a normal grip. But like I said, it's almost like these 2 are like very softly on the grip. Yeah. Use your body to square it up. That looked pretty good.
That one felt good. And then
there we go.
Close the face back down to square.
Right on target.
Wow. All right, it's an awesome drill. It's a tough drill, but it's worth it. In the long run, it's worth it. Keep a couple from snap hooking into the left wood. So,
absolutely.
Ryan, thanks for showing us that one. We appreciate it.
For sure. Thanks, Frank.